It's the God Awful Gospel Hour.
God Awful Gospel. Can you hear me okay? In
Yeah. Yeah, everything sounds good.
All right, you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I got our levels all right.
We're trying to come up with something that would offend the most.
God Awful Gospel Show.
As many people as possible.
All right.
Gospel Hour. But
That's
it's never
right.
An hour.
That's right. It's the God Awful Gospel Hour.
Autistic people will be mad if it's not an hour. We're going to offend them too. We're going to get everybody.
It's been over an hour lately.
We were trying
an
to
hour
think
and
of
16 minutes is about as close as I can get it down to.
We're trying to think of a phrase that would offend the most people on earth. It was like the Queen fucked the Pope in his ass and soccer sucks. You pretty much get earth with that. All Catholics, all people that the Queen's over a bunch of nations. Everybody loves soccer.
I mean, go fuck yourself with your own dick is a good way. I mean, that encompasses.
I think that's in a lot of languages. I bet like the Polish version of that is really nasty.
I'd like to hear it in French. It sounds very sexy.
Putain de merde.
Go suck yourself with your own dick.
So Aaron Cheatham is here?
Yeah, we're here with Aaron
Wait, has
Cheatham.
this started?
Yeah.
I was just saying all types of regrettable things already.
We can beep whatever you want to
With
beep
editing,
later.
With editing, there's no real start and end of anything. It's
no one
whatever
ever
you
said
want it to
anything.
be.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I
You
just
didn't say
walked
nothing.
in the door. How's it going?
That was another guy. This AI, I'm being recreated.
Yes, this is not. This is actually an Egyptian person with Aaron Cheatham's voice, AI generated on top of.
Pretending to be that so that it can say whatever.
I'm the dude, pretending to be a dude, pretending to be another dude.
So who are your guys? Who are your favorites of guys?
Of guys?
Of comedians.
Is this a Mark Maron? Who are your guys?
Yeah, who are your guys? Are we good? Are we good?
Yeah.
Well, like, what was the first comedy? Did you ever buy a comedy CD?
Yeah. I bought the first comedy CD I bought was Chris Rock,
Yeah.
Bigger and Blacker.
Okay. That's one of your biggest.
Well, I mean, at that time it was like, at that time I was just buying CDs like crazy, and I was like, "Yeah, Chris Rock, I like that special." I bought that. My guys, like growing up, it was Damon Wayans.
Yeah,
Damon Wayans was like the dude.
Yeah,
like I think he's massively underrated as a comedian, like as a stand-up.
Yeah,
people think about his movies and stuff first, but like Damon as a stand-up was cold, man. Like that was my dude, Damon. Carlos Mencia. I know that's probably a dirty word to say Carlos Mencia, but like that was the first. Like he was. I used to record every HBO half-hour special, hour special. Like I had on cassette tapes back in the day, and I had like tapes, 8-hour tapes of just like comedy and shit. And Mencia popped up on there a lot. And then when I started doing comedy in San Antonio, like I met him.
Yeah.
And like he was the first like big name person that ever took me to the side.
You never stole some of your shit or nothing?
Not him, but some other people from out there that rolled with him did. Yeah. I'm not gonna air nobody out right now, but yeah, somebody else stole my shit.
Universal mind, whatever. Fucking.
No, he legit stole my shit. We talked about it.
Parallel thinking, right?
And, we talked about it. He told me he thought it was funny, and then next thing you know, actually, I didn't realize until in the past couple years that this motherfucker recorded a special.
Yeah.
And had stolen my joke. I didn't realize. I didn't know it until I saw he came to Cap City, and the clip they used to advertise this dude was him doing my joke.
Oh shit!
And I was like, "This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
This motherfucker selling tickets off a joke he stole from me."
So you got to take it back. Do it better back at him.
Well, what I did was at the end of my first special, I have a cassette. I had a tape of me doing that joke in 2006.
Nice.
Years before he recorded that special. One of the early runnings of that joke.
Yeah.
And I put that at the end of my special.
Timestamp with date.
And
you already Shafir'd him.
Oh, yeah, I remember because it has the VHS / dates in the top corner, doesn't it? You had the old.
I had the footage of the kids that we made look old school, but then at the very end was a real old school footage from a cassette tape.
Yeah.
That when my boy Justin gave me the camcorder to record shit at the house, I was like, let me see if this old tape I got plays on here.
Yeah.
And I put it in. I was like, oh shit, there's a fucking special. Or not special. This is a performance of me from fucking 2006.
And it has the joke in it.
And it had the joke.
That's awesome.
Because I was like, oh, if this is from that time period, I bet and sure enough, like 8 minutes into the tape, I'm telling the joke, and I go, this motherfucker took it word for word.
Yeah.
And so I put it at the end of my special. That's a little Easter egg if anybody's wondering why at the end of my special there's a clip of me. Like you can see a joke that I did in the special me doing it in 2006 when I
The
first
evolution.
wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's like you got that. Then right after that is a bit that stole and
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and it's right there.
There's Bismarck
6 years,
stole?
6 years before he recorded that special. There's me telling that joke.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
put a beep in there so it sounds like you actually told us the person's name.
Fantastic.
It's like the opposite version of it, like the opposite effect of a beep.
You could just put Bismarcky beatboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But Damon Wayans was my dude. But Carlos took me back in the day, and he shot game to me, man. He was like, he gave me some sage advice that I still think about to this day.
Yeah.
And every time he came to San Antonio, I'd go out, and every single time, like without fail, yo, my man. And he'd come, pull me over, check on me, see how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Check on how the career is going.
Okay.
Whatever advice he would throw to me. It was like every time, all the way up till the last time I saw him was right before Mind of Mencia, or it was right after Mind of Mencia came out. And he had told me, I got something coming down, man.
Wow.
I got a show coming up on Comedy Central. It's going to be right after Chappelle's show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's big time, man. And then
it turned out to be the replacement for Chappelle's show.
right.
Well, this is good redemption story for Carlos.
Yeah, it is.
He's a good guy.
I'm not saying he ain't wrong and he ain't do no bullshit. I'm just saying
Nobody's
that
perfect.
My experience with him at a young age as a kid, I was like, this is that guy. And then when I met him when I got into comedy, you couldn't ask for anything better, from somebody that you looked up to as a child.
Yeah.
There's other people that I've met, and I was like, oh, well, I'm glad cancer got him. Like, I'm not going to say Robert Schimmel, but
My first tape that I got was Stephen Wright, the Boston guy. He's bald. He's like
the guy on the couch and
He's kind of
half-baked.
like
oh, okay, yeah. That guy.
he's a Mitch Hedberg style kind of
one-liner jokes. Yeah.
He had an Oreo joke.
Mm.
He said, I find my dental hygienist extremely attractive, so I eat an entire box of Oreos every time before I go to the dentist. So yours was better. You did a way better Oreo joke. But I was thinking about your, dip versus twist.
Uh-huh.
And I actually, I agree. I dip.
Yeah.
Everyone should dip.
You're a proper Christian.
But I worship the Lord, and I dip my Oreos.
Welcome to the gospel hour.
But but I do like when girls twist, because you got to lick the white stuff off of there, and then you get to watch her lick the white stuff off the Oreo and go, yeah. But everyone should still dip. You're right. That's like when a girl orders a can of beer and she's like, no, can I get a bottle? And then you get to watch her have the bottle the whole time. It's a little better than watching a girl drink out of a can.
I prefer the can because they can't see the fizzing when you. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you that Cosby was a mint?
Yeah.
He's a hero.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not see-through.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and have a little sip of this here. So you play UFC games and WWF games on PS4? What do you got, PS4? 5?
No, I don't. I got an Xbox.
Okay.
I was a PlayStation 1 guy. I was a PlayStation 2 guy.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had a roommate that had a PlayStation 3, so I didn't have to get that.
Yeah.
And then I had a roommate that had a PlayStation 4, so I didn't have to get that.
Did you ever play Fight Night? Remember Fight Night?
You want to talk about Fight Night? I'll ruin your fucking life in some Fight Night. You don't want to see me on these sticks.
No, I'm ready to get online with you.
I still play Fight Night.
Okay.
I still play Fight Night Champion right now. Like it's like at least twice a year. There's certain games that I always go back to.
Yeah.
Like I just wrapped up the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah.
Again.
The fancier one. They redid everything.
Yeah, I wanted to play with when they redid it. So
tight fonts. Are you aware of Undisputed, the boxing game?
Undisputed.
It's a new boxing game. It's on Steam right now. Hopefully it comes to consoles. It looks rad.
No.
I've seen a bunch of footage of it on Reddit, and it looks really tight.
I have not seen this
It's
yet.
again like Virtua Fighter with a really perfect collision detection.
Yeah.
People are online arguing about, frame counts on the swings, on the jabs.
Huh.
I want to get into it. I loved Fight Night, and I loved
What was
Ready
your
to
favorite
Rumble.
Fight Night?
2? I think it was 2.
2?
I had a buddy that started coming over and whooping me real bad, so I quit playing. I didn't like it anymore.
Listen here. If you said 2, then you didn't go all. Then you didn't. 3.
No.
3 is most people's go-to.
Yeah.
3, 4 took a step back. It felt like, and then Fight Night Champion was as close as we got to 3, where we had Ali and Tyson.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have Tyson in 3.
Yeah.
And I've battled.
Yeah.
I've almost lost friendships behind Fight Night 3. Fight Night 4. It was whatever.
Yeah.
But Fight Night Champion, that was the closest we got to 3, where it was, but it felt more fluid.
Okay.
And I caught a lot of hate because Evander Holyfield was my dude when I played with my boys.
Yeah.
He was my guy in 3, 4, and then Champion.
I couldn't get my head around the physics of that game. I thought I was doing good, and then I would just get whooped and be like, "This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand." So,
We were so cold blooded with it. I mean, because I wasn't a button masher either. Like anybody can get on the sticks on that game, hit the buttons, and
that's
be
why I want to get
competitive.
into UFC and WWF now, because I feel like the system should be tighter now with today's technology, where it's not so gummy.
The advances that were made.
Yeah.
2K23 is better than what they've been. 22, 23 have been better. They needed that year off because they were turning into hot shit in a fucking Dixie cup. They were not great, but it's a little better now. But still, for me, like the UFC games are cool. I'll get on it for a minute, but when you talk about like action, the best is still Fight Night. Oh, I was so nice. I can still hold that left trigger, lean back, dodge on that ass, and then bap bap. I'll ruin your whole fucking life. Fucking flashing lights, counter punches. I'm a god in Fight Night.
So Fight Night 3 is the one I remember playing because that one came out in like early 2006, right?
Yep.
And that was when I was living in a house with 2 other dudes, and all we did was we all worked at a call center. And then we came home and we smoked weed and we played PlayStation 3, which one of us had waited in line for and paid the $600 that the PlayStation 3 cost when it came out. And we just played Fight Night and Burnout Revenge were like the 2 games that we played over and over and over. That was like the whole year of 2006.
Well, the trailer for Fight Night had like the sweat shadow.
Yeah, the sweat.
And the gloopy face physics of getting punched. You
Yeah.
can see their cheeks going, ooh.
Yeah,
and then between the rounds, when you go, you had to like put the
Yeah,
stuff on the
3.
eye.
On 3, you had to do the
stick
thing back and forth.
You had to
Gotta
stick
cut
the
Oh,
cotton
that was
swab
so
up the
great.
nose and all
you
that.
had to choose
like,
was you gonna work on the swelling or the
yeah,
cuts.
right,
Yeah.
right.
You're right.
And then of course your trainer was like Mickey. He's like, all right, you gotta get out there, you know.
I love that. Because that was part of the game. That was what made 3 so good. Was
That's right.
like you had to do that because if you might be able to fight a little bit, but if you can't recover your boxer,
That's right. Yeah.
you be fucked up, and you could last an extra round or 2 just by having a good cut game in the corner.
Yeah.
Fucking work that shit out, get that swelling down, get this bleeding down.
Yeah.
I'm patched back up. I'm out here fucking you up again.
Yeah.
If
So
you
have you
couldn't patch
seen,
up, you was fucked up real quick. 3rd round, that's the end of the goddamn game for you.
There's a whole new dimension to the round, right?
It was great.
Yeah.
That Creator Clash channel on YouTube is getting so big now. Maybe they'll make Fight Night 5 with Sam Hyde and Logan Paul.
We've got Logan Paul on WWE 2K23.
It is? Okay.
We don't need Logan Paul in boxing.
The lines are getting blurred with comedy now, where everybody has to be a content guy and has to have a YouTube, and now we have to go box.
Yeah.
And we have to be naked.
Well, that's what Elon Musk and
ridiculous.
We got Elon Musk and Mark
are doing.
Zuckerberg are seriously talking about doing a cage match or something, fighting in the octagon at least.
And Dana White's
Dana
like,
White's
I'll
yeah,
do
it's
it.
real. Yeah.
Man,
I've already had 5 concussions. I don't think I can do another one.
I'm
before I
not.
get
I'm not
fully-
paying to watch 2 billionaires fight so that they can get more money off of a fucking fight that we're gonna pay to watch. No, thank you.
If one of them dies, though, then we all win.
Or I mean, let's do this old school. We don't need to have a cage fight. What we need is both of them to show up on 6th Street, get them drunk, get one of them at Shakespeare's, one of them on the East. You know what I'm saying? And then have them meet in the middle of 6th Street and be like, "Yo, Mark, there he go right there.
Yeah, right in front of
Ain't that him right there with Rogan?
right in front of the mothership.
Ain't that him right there
To
with
bring
Rogan?
the bouncers out to ref.
I heard he said that him and Rogan's gonna stomp you out, Zuck. You better go get his ass. And he said your mama sucked dick for free, and then that Zuckerberg run over there and my mama don't. And then they fight. Like you remember, you used to push them.
Stage
2
it,
punks
yeah.
like get in there and get them. And they
Yeah.
start. I don't want to. Then they start fighting.
The
It's
crowd.
great.
Yeah. Somebody shows up with a knife on 6th Street all the time.
The loser of that fight should have to go down in the tube to see the Titanic.
The death trap. It's another death trap. Did your kids ever get into unboxing YouTube videos?
Nah, man, I don't let my kids see none of that shit.
Okay.
Look, I'm from the 80s, and my kids live like we in the 80s, but fancy 80s.
Okay.
Like they don't get to see none of that shit. They don't know. The depth of their YouTube experience is sight words,
Yeah.
little brain breaks.
Oh, that's good.
And some sight words and some brain breaks, and then random animal shit that I want to show them.
Yeah,
Like
our house
and music videos.
Our house was full of chaos during COVID. We were like, just whatever, just chill out, everybody. Just do whatever you want. Just lets everybody calm down. I got real annoyed during COVID because you want to tell your kids everything's going to be okay, and I couldn't honestly tell my kids everything's going to be okay because nobody had any fucking idea what was going on. So yeah, everybody had their own screens and devices, and it was like just whatever it takes to self-soothe. We let them, but they wanted to get into. They were watching all these unboxing videos, and they were like, "Can we do some?" And I was like, "You guys open everything in the car before we get home. How are we going to unbox it? All the plastic is in the back of the truck. We can't unbox anything." But I thought it would be, I don't know, maybe they'll have the patience to do it now. They can bring the whole box home and do their own thing. There's cardinals out there.
You would like to hope so.
I tried to get them into like hiking more during COVID because we got Longview right there, and doing like bushcraft stuff and making fires, and you could hike for hours and not see anybody out there.
Really?
During March 2020, during COVID, I stood.
Oh yeah. During COVID, yeah, absolutely. You
I
could.
stood on Westgate for 30 minutes in the middle of the road, and nothing happened. Nobody came up or down that road.
I believe it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, my kids were too young at that time, so nothing changed for them.
Yeah.
Their life was completely unimpeded by COVID. Now, my life, on the other hand, different story.
Yeah.
But their life, as they knew it, everything was normal.
But Josh's house got hit by lightning a month into COVID.
Your house got hit by lightning?
It's because there's a bird on the peak.
Yeah.
And he got fried. So we found a fried crow in the yard, or a grackle or whatever. And it killed my PS4, my garage opener, my TV, and we got a bunch of black outlets upstairs that are all fried that don't work. Still.
Over a bird?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the bird conducted or made the house a little taller or something. I have no idea.
Huh.
I mean, none of the other houses got hit but ours.
I ain't never got hit by no lightning.
Yeah, that was like a month in, and then you said fire department guys were all like just bursting into your house. You're like, germs, like we didn't know right then. That was like a month in, right? You know, so
yeah, 5 huge dudes came tromping through the house in their tactical pants. Then they had to go up in the attic and see if anything was still burning. We had a roof guy come look at the damage and everything. We got some insurance money. It was okay. It was, that and not having to pay electricity. Everybody loved doing like crazy. All we did was wait for Amazon to come because, Mama Bear gets ill during this kind of unquestionable things. So nobody was going anywhere or doing anything.
Right.
Unless anything that we could get delivered, we got delivered. So we were just stuck in the house wondering if some cool stuff was going to come in the mail because we didn't have to pay electricity for a couple of years. And now we're getting fucked by that because we have to pay it all back.
You had to pay it back?
We're paying it back still.
Wait, so why did you not have to pay for electricity?
You did like some type of like
deferment. They gave
deferment,
everybody
right?
a hardship break. So my wife called and said we're not getting any overtime anymore from my husband's job, so we need to not pay electricity for a while. And I was like, okay, cool. That should make things easier for everyone.
Yeah.
Now we can order weird gadgets on Amazon and wait for them to get here and play.
And then
with
now
them.
they're saying, all right, now you got to give us that money back?
Yeah, they had it all on paper. We still use electricity. They still know. Well, I went in the garage and got we've got garbage bags, huge garbage bags full of stuffed animals in the garage. And now my kids don't even want material stuff anymore. They just want digital everything. The girls, 13-year-old girls got a phone. The boys got his Xbox. They're asking for stuff, and I'm like, sell some of this stuffies in the garage. A lot of it is like clearance stuff from GameStop back in the day, and it's worth more now. Like weird
nice.
Pokemons and stuff.
Okay.
So, they didn't know what it was back then. So if I was ever at GameStop grabbing a game back in the day and there's something for $5 on clearance, I get it and bring it home, and they go, wow, because they're 4. So I started putting that stuff on eBay, and it's selling for like $30 now.
Oh, wow.
But it's a whole nother job. So I'm trying to make them do it, but I have to like set it up and show them and go, look, this sold. We have to go ship it. Come with me. And it's like trying to get them to take the initiative and do anything.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
No.
That's not when Dad can still do it.
I told him, what percentage do you think you should get and what percentage do you think I should get if I sell one of your $4 toys for $30? And Walter was like, I get all of it. And I was like, all right, well, how's it going to get shipped? Who put the photo online? I was like, can I get 10%? And he was like, yeah, I guess so. I was like, I'm taking all of it anyway. It goes in my bank account.
Right? You'll get what I get.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it sold for $7. He ain't got to know about the other 23.
We're not doing really well on eBay.
I had the opposite. When I was a kid, I used to go every summer to go to my granny's house in Georgia, and then my uncles would come down from Detroit, and they would take me back to Detroit. And I used to sit in my Uncle James's basement, and he sold, like, he was the bootleg dude.
Yeah.
He was a manager at Ford at the plant, and he would sell bootleg tapes. This is cassette tapes back in
swap meet stuff.
Yeah, so he would sell bootleg tapes. He was the bootleg guy at work, so people would buy bootlegs off of him for $10.
Yeah.
So what I did during the summers, I sat in the basement when I had 4 TVs set up with the VCRs, and I would record. I would make the copies of the bootlegs. That was my job.
Yeah.
So he'd go to work, he'd come back, I'd have stacks of tapes ready for him to take the next day.
Nice.
And then I got 10% of that. So for every tape that he sold, I got $1. So
okay.
I'm making, 30, 40 tapes a day, and he didn't have, like, my cousins wasn't doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, they would, maybe during the school year they'd help out or whatnot, but that was Uncle James doing that. And then when I come for the summer, he's like, child labor, let's go. And I'm like 9 years old, just back, Tango and Cash, fucking making copies of Tango and Cash all day long. I'm
That's
watching all
awesome.
these movies.
That's
awesome.
Then we would go down to, down 7 Mile to right outside the Family Dollar where the Africans would be set up selling shit out of their goddamn van. And he let me start picking out the movies and shit. We would get this one and this one and this one. Then I'd take those tapes back to the house and make copies of them. So the fact that your kids want 100% on some shit that they did not. My uncle would be like, he's like, anything you do in this house, you need to, you name a price and get paid for it. So I'd be ironing clothes. My uncle's like, can you iron my shirt? Yeah, I got you. How much? Give me, I'm 9. I need 5 quarters.
Yeah. How many blow pops can I get with it?
It's like, I'm thinking he's going to take me to the arcade and shit. So I'm thinking in arcade since I need 6 quarters.
Yeah.
And then I get there with 6 quarters and I'm like, man, I can't play but 2 games.
Yeah. And then the Korean kid puts a quarter on the screen on Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and you don't even ever get to play again.
And then he's like, oh, you're making breakfast? Let me get some eggs and some toast and whatever. Okay, cool. How much for that? 10 quarters. I need 10 quarters for this. It's terrible.
Your entire life, like your currency of your life is quarters whenever you're 9 years old.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, how many games can I play with these quarters? I need 10 quarters.
All the weirdest toys that are left, I've been picking through the garage and all these old things, and I found some strange stuff that they don't even care. I mean, the stuff has been in the garage for 5 years, so it's worth nothing to anyone.
Right.
So anything I make on it on eBay is fine. But like the funky stuff, like the Funkos or the action figures that I still like I've got a Breath of the Wild Link. That shit all goes to work and goes in my cubicle. So I've got like a museum of strange leftover
toys,
GameStop stuff that I don't feel like selling because I still like it.
It's the aisle of misfit toys on your desk.
It's Sid's room from Toy Story.
Oh no.
So all my new material I've been trying to write recently is a lot of marriage stuff, and it's starting to sound too Rodney Dangerfield-esque. But I'm trying to figure out a funny thing to call when your wife yells at your kids through your face. You ever been in the room and your wife is on one side of you and your kids are on the other, and she decides to yell at them? And you're just in the way, and you have to, the moment is tense, and it's not a good time to go, hey, shut the fuck up.
No. When it happens, I just I feel myself doing this lean here. We're just like,
I get up and go somewhere else, but at first I'm like, why do I got to get up? Sorry, I'm in your way. I know you think my head is empty, but you don't have to yell through each ear and out the other one.
Do I look like a window? Don't yell through me.
Yeah, maybe it's not that important to yell at them about that right now if there's someone sitting here in the room also. It's a lot of performative,
The yelling went directly into one of your eardrums and out the other eardrum to the child.
Yeah, if I could have not heard, that would have been good. But we had the kids coming in the room all the time when I was telecommuting during COVID about everything. Just they're bored. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell them, if it's not fire or blood, it's not an emergency.
Right.
People come knocking. I'm in the middle of doing work, and I'm like, who's bleeding? What's on fire? I can't help you. But then the lightning hit the house, and it was actually a real emergency.
A real fire.
Like, okay, fire, blood, or lightning, then that's an emergency. Because it killed the devices. They couldn't,
I think those are Final Fantasy elements.
Yeah.
No shit,
destroyed.
Right?
All right, we're going to take a break here real quick just for a second, and be right back. And we're back with Aaron Cheatham.
Hello.
Hey, so you were saying that one of your first guys was Damon Wayans. So I assume you watched a lot of In Living Color?
I did.
Yeah, that was my sketch show from about the ages of 11 to 15 or so.
Mm-hmm.
We watched those. Well, for us, it was, Jim Carrey. For like me and my brother, like we were obsessed with Jim Carrey, and but Damon Wayans and Jamie Foxx on that. That was like that's the first like exposure to those guys and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was a huge fan of In Living Color. I got to work with Tommy Davidson last year.
That's awesome.
And that was surreal. It was like this fucking sitting in the green room with him, and it's just like that's fucking Tommy Davidson right there.
This is the guy that I watched on my CRT TV screen when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx being security, not letting Tupac into the show and shit. Like that's like it was sick to be there and to hear him talk about like he would talk about Jim Carrey like just like so freely because and it's like he'd be like, oh yeah, I was on the phone with Jim recently and and it's like you have to put together Jim. Oh, Jim Carrey. He's talking about Jim. Oh, that Jim.
It's like people talk about Robert De Niro and they just say Bob or Bobby. And it's like, stop. That's Robert De Niro.
Right. And he's just like, Jim, Jim's going to be in town and we're going to be doing this thing here. And I'm just like, wait, you and Jim Carrey are doing something? Yeah. It's like, and then Jim, and we're on the phone. But it's like, that's fucking crazy. Like, like that he still like has like a pride, a huge amount of pride about In Living Color. And so whenever we like that topic even came up, just hearing him talk about those days, it was just like I was 9 again. I was a kid again. Fucking.
So that's a mountaintop moment. You've been having some of them over the last year. You did tour. You got a special.
Yeah, I've had a few.
I mean, what were stuff that you were looking forward to and thinking, once I get this, once I do this, then I kind of feel like it's legit or I made it or
man,
the come up.
The come up. That's my show.
Yeah. Is that still happening?
We're gonna bring it back.
Okay, good.
We're bringing it back, but we put a pause on the come up so that I can get ready to record the special. And
the Creek is so supportive. They're so cool.
Oh no, the Creek that's my home, man. Like Rebecca and everybody there, like they take good care of me at the Creek. They're very good to me. And
so, but outside of Tommy Davidson, what was your big other mountaintop moments you had recently where you're like, this is legit now?
Oh, shit. Dude, working with Hannibal Buress,
hell yeah,
on the low, great. Like that, like just even being I played a small part of the conversation, that evening to get him on stage, but even playing a part in that and like that was like, yo, I am talking to Hannibal Buress right now, and I'm like, so you gonna do the show? Or I was like. I'm not trying to. I know they putting the pressure on you. I'm not trying to pressure you, Hannibal. Yeah. I don't want to be the one that makes you go, I ain't doing this shit. But I was like, you gonna do it though? I just need to know. Yeah. So that I can try to get these motherfuckers off the stage.
Yeah, for like logistic reasons.
So that you could. Yeah. And then it was like, and then like Rebecca comes back over, and I was like, I'm gonna let her do her thing, and I'm just gonna go chill. Yeah. That was dope. Listen, going to see Louis. Yeah. Watching Louis C.K. Yeah. Watching Louis C.K. and sitting next to Ron White, like.
Oh shit!
Go fuck yourself. Like,
where was this at?
At the Creek.
Okay.
Dog. Oh yeah, because Louis dropped in when he did Rogan or whatever, and he
did 2 nights at the Creek.
He did a couple nights at the Creek, and it was like it was hard to get into.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I got a seat that saved for me, and I went in and I went to my little spot, and then a bunch of like open micers came in and sat around and. No, actually, it wasn't. Not at that point. Some other people came and sat down, and they brought Ron over, and they were going to come sit him over there where I was at.
Cackling in one of your ears at Louis' shit with his signature.
Dog. So it was so sick. So he comes in over, and there was a bunch of people sitting around, and so he walks right back out. There's nowhere for me to sit. Yeah. And I was like, oh, y'all got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. And I was like, I'll move too. Fuck it. Like, let's give Ron White some space. Come over here. Yeah. So. I get everybody to move, go find somewhere else to sit. I move over, and I take a seat right next to where I was sitting so that he can have space to come through, didn't have to feel like people were on him. Yeah. And then a bunch of like open mic comics come in, see that space open, and sit down right after they go to get Ron to come back. And I go, y'all got to get the fuck up. Yeah. Ron, right like y'all can't sit there right now. Ron's coming back. Y'all got to get the fuck up. And he comes, and as they see him coming, they get up and they fucking move over. And he took my seat, and there's like a seat in between us, and just like like I didn't even talk to him. Like I've spoken to him before, but I didn't even at that moment we were in a show, so I'm not gonna fucking be.
Right.
But it's just like, motherfucker, like Ron White is right here.
Tater salad himself.
Louis is right there, and it's like it was cool to like because I'm already watching Louis.
And you were in Aaron Ron White was in Aaron Cheatham's seat.
He was sitting in my seat.
Yeah.
He was sitting. It has my name on the back.
Nice.
And yeah, it was cool to be watching a legend.
With a legend.
Yeah.
and out my side eye, watching a legend watch a legend.
Right,
the way that I was like, how's he watching this? I know this is hitting me, but I'm like, what's Ron White doing with this? Nah, like there's been a lot of in the last 18 months, like shit that was like, am I actually getting there?
Yeah.
You know, there's been a bunch of them, man.
And what even does it mean anymore? With it's not doing Dick Cavett or getting Mitzi past you at the store and going on Carson and getting a sitcom like it used to be. There's not that track now. It's a million different directions. You got to go on Creator Clash and box somebody. You got to do roast battle naked in New York in front of a bunch of there's
play video games and have reaction videos.
Or at Skankfest you can get naked.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you wanted to talk about all that. You saw some.
We don't need to talk about.
You saw something you don't want to ever see.
We don't need to talk about that. It is best.
That's a later.
It is best. That is a not aired conversation right there.
I was listening to your show you did about what airline woes with back.
Yeah.
And I had one recently. I went to pick up my family. They all came into town for a reunion thing. And I'm watching the flight, on the phone, the tracker. And it said it landed. And I'm in the airport. They asked me to park and help them with bags. They got a newborn. The mom's got a busted foot. So I knew, like, it showed on the tracker which bag claim they're going to be at. So I'm there. I'm texting them. It shows that they landed. And then, on the airline, this is Southwest. Fuck Southwest. But it said they had arrived. And then all of a sudden it changed and updated and said they were 20 minutes out. So they lied. Fine, whatever. Oh my God, corporations are liars. But during that, while I'm waiting, this group of women walked by. Looked like they'd all just got back together from not seeing each other for a while. They're like, oh my God, we should take a picture. And one of them looked over at me sitting on my phone and said, let's ask this gentleman here to take a picture. And then two of the other girls looked and said, no. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's exactly the look I'm going for. The guy that you don't ask to get up and do shit at the airport when he's on his phone.
I had a similar experience. You talk about, big moments like recently in January. I was in Dallas doing a run with Willie Barsina. And Willie's old school K Locos. And so it was dope for me to be able to do this son. It was 6 shows we did. And the last show, it's the very last fucking show. We are about to start the show. I'm outside at the bar. I'm hosting. I'm grabbing a drink from the bar. And as I'm grabbing a drink, there's a group of people that are like by the bar and they're trying to get a picture. So one of them comes up to me and is like, hey, can you take a picture of us? And I'm literally getting ready to go walk on stage to start the show. And can you take a picture of us? And I literally say, do I look like a fucking photographer to you? What are you doing, lady?
Should have got in it and be like, I know y'all want a picture with me, right?
And well, they start laughing and they're like, oh, you're funny. And they're just and they hand me the phone and then they go over to this little photo op little thing where they got like flowers and shit. And they're all like, it's like prom pictures and shit. This is like some Orson Welles or what's not Orson Welles, the fucking Olin Mills. Yeah. Olin Mills picture. That's completely different.
Right.
Yeah, not the Citizen Kane pictures, but
the teased hair pictures.
Yes,
Animal Farm.
They line up and they take all these I'm taking group pictures and shit, and then I give them the phone. They're like, thank you, and they're all very happy, and I'm like, these motherfuckers. And then they walk in, and I get my drink. I walk in behind them, and they seat them, and they are the entire front row.
Okay.
The entire front row is this group of people that just made me take their picture.
And then you went up.
And then they start the show, and I walk up, and the first thing I say to the audience is, well, will you look at who's in the front row tonight? And I tell the audience the story about how these motherfuckers...
Should have been like, give me your phone again. We're going to take a selfie with me and the microphone with y'all in the front row behind me as the background.
After I roasted them, I bring up the first comic, I come back up, and one of the guys is like...
you roasted them, you made them get naked, you punched them, all the good creative content.
This guy goes, wait, can I just say something to the rest of the audience?
Oh my God.
And I go, you want to do it? I just want to explain to them. And he turns around and I go, yeah, go ahead. He goes,
Yeah.
all right, guys. And I go, nobody fucking cares. Shut the fuck up. And he's just like, and everybody dies. And it's like, you already fucked up, bitch. You already fucked up. As soon as you handed me your phone and said, take a picture, you fucked up. Be careful who you ask to take your goddamn picture, because you might just get more than a picture back.
So was that here in town, or was
That was in Dallas.
So you just went on a Midwest tour.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Utah in September. I never thought I'd go to Utah in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you memorize all the states and shit when you're little, and you're like, "There's no way I'm ever going to Nebraska." That's
I did.
yeah. So you went to
Don't
all.
talk to a
you went to all
touring
of them.
comedian about places you wouldn't go.
Yeah, I was just there. I was in Nebraska. Actually, Nebraska, I was talking shit.
Yeah.
And ended up at the end of that night, I was like, I kind of fuck with Nebraska.
Yeah,
Like, I kind of fuck with Nebraska.
Now there's some cool cities in Nebraska. Omaha and Lincoln are pretty awesome.
I wasn't nowhere near. Wait, where was I? Was in Alliance. I was in Alliance, Nebraska. That ain't no Lincoln or Omaha.
No,
that
that's the
is
one, right?
Alliance. Apparently, they hit me to some game that down here we don't know that, like, apparently Deadwood not only is a real place,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
still
in Montana,
popping.
right?
Yeah.
No, South
That's in the
Dakota.
Dakotas.
South Dakota,
Yeah.
right.
It's still popping. It's like the place to be. Like
Really?
out there, that's the big city to them.
So you could be the
Wow.
Chappelle of Nebraska. Everybody's like, Chappelle, Iowa. What area is he at? Idaho. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
But no, that would require me to be in Nebraska more than look that night. That night Nebraska
That
went
was
hard.
That was one good Nebraska.
That
night.
was one good Nebraska night. That was one epic Nebraska night. All right, that was it.
But night 2, 3, 4, night 17 in Nebraska is probably not that great of a night.
Yeah, probably not.
Right.
Yeah. Like I think you'd get kind of done with Nebraska pretty quick. It's like, all right, I've done this shit. I'm out.
You know, Austin's kind of getting fucked up, and the prices are crazy, and people are talking. Everybody's talking
Not
about
high
going,
enough to go to Nebraska.
No, yeah. Everybody's talking about going somewhere else. My wife keeps finding all these houses on Instagram, and she follows all these cheap, let's go refurbish this place in Alaska and live off the grid and all this. And I'm like, how can you? There's nothing online where you can check the meth percentage of these towns.
Right.
Like,
Dude.
it looks nice, the scenery, but you get there and
Out here we don't see meth heads like that.
No.
We see pot heads, we see coke heads.
Yeah.
We know what those look like. We don't see meth heads in the wild
No.
in Austin. I did in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what the fuck that was, and the guy that's driving us around, he goes, "Oh, that's meth." And I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker." There was a dude walks across the street. Like, keep in mind, it's April, so snow is like high as fuck. Like, snow is like mid-thigh.
Mm-hmm.
There's snow piles taller than me. We're at a red light downtown Bismarck, and this guy walks across the street in front of the car. He's wearing camo pants, a wife beater, and nothing else. Like, this dude didn't even have shoes on.
yeah.
All right.
And it's snow everywhere. And he's just walking across the street, and he starts geeking in front of the car. And it was like, dude, what the fuck is that? My whole boy's like, that's meth. Yeah. And he gets on the corner, and like, I didn't know if he was like slipping because ice on the corner and he ain't got shoes on or what, but he's like, no, that's just a geek out. He's
reality
he was just
for him.
he was just getting it.
He's Pee Wee Herman.
He was, and I was like, bitch, I know a dance off when I see one. Like, don't make me get out this car. We'll fucking Thriller dance this shit out tonight. Like, but it was like, I had never seen that shit. It was like it's just a dude on meth walking down the street, geeking out, losing his fucking mind. It was like,
So you are from Detroit? I mean, you got your Detroit hat on.
so I'm the first one in my family that, on my mom's side of the family, that wasn't born in Detroit.
Okay.
Everybody else is like born in Detroit. So I was raised by people that are straight Detroit. I spent summers damn near every year in Detroit, went up there in high school so that I can get I got my very first job in Detroit, learned how to drive in Detroit because I was going to go to the University of Michigan. So I wanted to get that. I didn't want to pay that out-of-state tax and whatnot. So I went and stayed with my family up there so that I can get residency and all that shit. So that way we could try to play it off so I wouldn't have to pay that extra money. But then I ended up not going to Michigan, partially because I don't know if y'all have done a Michigan winter, but fuck all that.
I have family in Minnesota.
Yeah,
And
it's close enough.
It's more or less the same thing.
Yeah, and when you're from the South,
Yeah.
fuck all that.
So summer 2017, I was in Detroit. We drove from Pittsburgh through Ohio, Cleveland, into Detroit because we were doing a baseball trip. And I spent like a day and a half in Detroit. We went to a Tigers game and all that. It's an interesting city. It's so big. Like
Yeah.
it was such huge sprawl in the cities. Like you were saying that like you had family members who worked for Ford, right?
Ford and Lincoln.
I mean, what it must have been in like in the 50s was insane. Like just the absolute giant sprawl of what that city was.
Oh yeah, and I imagine in the '60s in Detroit, with the Motown boom.
Oh
like,
yeah.
that was like the automotive boom, the Motown boom. There was so much culture. There still is so much culture in that town.
Yep.
Speaking of the come up, they're coming back up now. A couple of years ago, you heard there was bears in like the industrial area living in the warehouses.
Reclaimed
What?
by nature. Yeah.
Yeah, the outskirts of Detroit were falling apart.
I believe that. I mean, look, when I was there in 2018,
yeah,
2018, 2019, maybe 2019. I don't know. Whatever year I did a bunch of festivals.
Yeah.
I was in Detroit and I was staying with my uncle and my aunt's got like the news on and shit.
yeah,
And I was like, after like 3 days in Detroit, I got depressed.
yeah.
Right.
It was because all they talked about on the news, literally every day on the news, it was just somebody was murdered on the whatever block of 8 Mile. Somebody was stabbed on this block. It was like, how was the entire news about people having
Just
bad
murder,
fucking
yeah.
days?
I guess they
Like
took
the worst
advantage
day ever is the entire news. And it was like, man. And then I started driving around the city and I'm seeing like piles of shit.
Yeah.
Like they came through and they renovated downtown.
Right.
Downtown looks nice. Like I went downtown, I saw like white people walking around with headphones on. I was like, never in my day. Like
That's
there's
not
like
the Detroit I remember.
yeah, and there's like people with like there's a bar in the park.
Yeah.
And all
Yeah.
I was like, this shit is insane. And then you leave that area that they fucking
Yeah.
renovated.
Yeah.
And it's like the rest of town is just piles of trash and shit
Yeah.
on the street. There's grime and huge ass potholes and
When's the
shit.
last time you were there?
2019, I believe it was.
Yeah,
See,
I
I
heard
was-
they took advantage of the bubble, the housing shit, and there's a lot of cheap real estate, and it started to fill back up with
Maybe.
investors
With
and
hipsters.
flippers. And,
When I was
Yeah.
there, I legit could have bought a house in Detroit with money I had on me.
Yeah.
Like, because my
quarters from back in the
And-
day.
and
they
what-
were
still
all
had
the
'em.
quarters my uncle gave me. They're worth a lot now. Like my wife was like, hey, I've never been there, and your whole family's from there. Maybe we should look at Detroit. And she's looking online at Zillow and all that shit, and she's like, oh, there's a lot of cheap shit. I'm like, yeah, my nigga, I see there's some shit that's cost $1,000. Do you really
Whoa.
want $1,000 Detroit house?
What basically the whole point of that is so that you have to pay taxes on that property.
land.
That's like that's why it's so crazy there. Yeah.
Well, that and you also have to kick the crackheads out of the house.
the squatters.
And then clean like they're all total fixer uppers, and it's like, yeah, you can buy a house in Detroit for $1,000 in 2019, but do you really want a house in Detroit for $1,000?
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'm good. I'll take a $50,000 house in Detroit.
Location,
real quick.
location.
Yeah, that was not the
Right.
location. Trust.
Actually, when I was in Detroit, I had this like sudden realization about like how sheltered my dad is.
Yeah.
Because we stayed in downtown Detroit, right? And when we were in Cleveland, I was at a bar and some guy said, hey, you got to try this restaurant. It's really cool. It's great. It's in Detroit. And here's the address. Here's the name of it. So we take an Uber from downtown Detroit across the highway, basically, to this little hipstery restaurant. And we eat there. And then I'm like, the Uber drive was not that far. So let's just walk back to our hotel. But again, it was on the other side of the highway from downtown. So it would be like block of like restored building, probably some hipsters had bought it and renovated and all this stuff, and then dilapidated crack house, and then nice, restored building, and then something else. And it was about the time we walked by a liquor store and my dad started getting scared.
What's that like to be with your dad and feel
So-
that he's scared?
So what it is, we're walking by this liquor store and there's people milling about, people who are not white like us, right? And there's guys walking at it with like, swaying back and forth with bottles in paper bags and all that.
I mean,
My
that's
dad
how
goes-
you feel in Philadelphia, seeing all those people on the sidewalk.
Right?
And so my dad
That's
just
what
kind of
Philly's
does
famous
this.
for now.
We better get out of here. And I'm like, dude,
hi, Bob.
it's 2:00 in the afternoon in broad daylight. Nothing is happening to us as we're walking literally within sight of downtown.
You were
Detroit.
playing with your life. You were playing with your life. Listen,
with your
that,
father's
on that
life.
same trip when I'm leaving Detroit, I'm on my way out of town, and I remember my uncle when I was younger used to take me down to 7 Mile. Cause we lived in between 8 Mile and 7 Mile.
Okay.
On the west side town. Like my first job was at 12 Mall, which is Telegraph Road and 12 Mile. And that's like, from my crib, just hop on 8 Mile, get on Telegram, shoot up north, up to 12 Mile. That's where the mall was.
Right.
So 7 Mile is just half a mile south of the house. And my uncle, when I was a kid, used to take me down there. I could get all these badass clothes. They have great clothes shopping down there, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna go hit up these shops real quick, pick up a couple T-shirts on the way out of town, and my uncle's like, "You going to 7 Mile by yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Let me get the pistol." And I was like, "I don't need the gun." He's like, "Yeah, you do. You need the gun." I go, "Uncle James, it is 1 p.m. I don't need a gun to go down to 7 Mile to go shopping for some clothes." And he's like, "You get in some trouble, then you just call me." And I was like, so I leave the house, stop by this pizza spot. There's supposed to be a boutique right across the street. So I order the pizza, walk across the street, and it's fucking locked. It's closed down. It's locked up.
Like the chain, the gates are down.
The gates are down, all
that.
that type of shit. Like, and I was like, all right, well, this is shit. So then I go back, get my pizza, and I look, and I'm like, all right, there's another one a little bit down the road.
Right.
Shoot down the road a little bit, get out the car. That place is locked up. And I'm looking around, and it's like a bunch of sketchy dudes walking around. I'm like, but this is 7 Mile. I ain't scared. But, like, all right, I'm now paying attention to, wait a second, these motherfuckers, what are these people just walking around aimlessly and shit?
No earbuds.
And
no
earbuds. No earbuds at all. I go
Nobody's
down.
walking around with Walkmans.
None of that. No, they've got actual boom boxes.
Yeah.
Like, and I go down the road a little bit further to a third spot, and I'm like, if this place ain't open, then fuck it. I just ain't getting no gear while I'm here.
Yeah.
Go there, door's locked again. I was like, all right, fuck it. I turn around as I walk into the car. I hear the door unlock behind me, and the dude peeks his head out the door, and he's like, "You trying to get in?" And I go, "Is y'all open? Like this a shop? Like
You
y'all
got money,
closed and
we're
stuff?"
open. We're only open if you got some money.
It's like when me and Josh went to Brick's Pub the other night.
They locked it. They locked this pub because there was a crazy guy out front.
Yeah.
Well, this shit is like, so I'm like, yeah, I'm looking to get some clothes and stuff, man. Are y'all open? He's like, yeah, come on in real quick. And I was like, oh, this is sketchy. So
I
he
mean,
opens the
yeah,
door,
but no, but yeah.
He lets me in and he locks the door behind me. And he's like, yeah, man, we got all this stuff. And there, people in there. And he's like, it's open and it looks nice inside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dope. And they got a bunch of fresh gear. And I'm looking around. They're showing me we got this stuff, we got that stuff, and all this. I'm like, dope. So I'm taking my time looking around. Somebody else came in, same thing, locked the door behind them. They get their stuff, they bounce. I pick out like 4 T-shirts and a hat that I wanted. Go to checkout, and they're like, oh, we ain't seen you around here. And I go, oh man, I came up around here, told them, my family right down the street and all that. And they're like, oh man, I told them I was doing comedy. I was on my way to Ohio to go do the Whiskey Bear Festival. Nice. And they're like, yo, you got to come back around, whatnot. I showed them a clip and they saw some of my comedy. They're like, man, yeah, what's good that we see y'all coming back around.
Yeah.
All this good shit.
Hometown hero done good.
Yeah, so they're all happy and shit. And and as I'm getting ready to walk out, I pay and everything. And they go to the dude at the door. Hey, my man's leaving. Make sure he get out all right. And I was like,
nice. Security.
What? And right. So I get to the door and the guy's at the door. He goes, you done, young blood? I was like, yep. And he goes, where you parked? And I said, I'm right here on the corner in a white Jeep. He's like, all right. Pulls his shirt up, puts his hand on his piece, opens the door, peeks his head out the door, and he goes, all right, I'm going to watch you. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we walk out, and he's like, that you right there? And I go, yep. And he's like, all right, cool, I got you, young blood. And I walk, and I'm like, is this motherfucker really giving me an armed escort to my car at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Or not in the morning, in the afternoon,
yeah,
1 o'clock. Yeah, straight up. He watched till I got to my car. When I got in, he takes his hand off the gun, and he's like, all right, man, you come back round. Come down and see us again. You make it bounce. I'll come back, see y'all, whatever. And I was just
representation now over there.
What the fuck is going on? Like, why are we? Yeah, so, yes, you were definitely in danger at 2 in the afternoon when I'm getting armed escorts.
I guess it was just my liberal confidence.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Nobody will do anything to us right now. We're just walking. Yeah, just like all the other
The
marks.
world is not that bad of a place.
They used to tell us
It's
not
not
to go behind the Capitol in D.C. when I was growing up. And I was like, the whole half of the city is behind the Capitol. We can't go to half of the whole capital of America.
Don't.
But that's where all the bootlegs were at. We had a guy from New York that would come down with bootlegs of Stretch Bobito and Biggie and all this stuff.
Right.
Well, I'm old. I'm 46. So whenever all that stuff was happening, the early 90s is a lot of people's legacy. You know, that's the greatest hip hop of all time. We were getting bootlegs in DC that they didn't know about in New York. You know, you don't get caught bringing that stuff down in the trunk and everything.
Right.
And, you know, they would warn us all the time, don't go behind the Capitol. And it was kind of like, please don't throw me in the briar patch kind of, you know, it's good. They're lying. All the best parties are over there. Everything's over there. You know, they're block parties, and you can go behind the Capitol.
You can.
You need to know somebody, and you need to not just be strolling around with your dad.
We're going to a baseball game later, and we just ate at a restaurant that had really good salad. Let's walk back to our hotel in downtown Detroit.
Got to walk off this mill. Get my steps in.
So you weren't born in Detroit? Are you born in Texas?
I was born in D.C.
Born in D.C.
Yeah,
nice.
my family is military, so I was born in D.C. Specifically Andrews Air Force Base.
Right.
Yeah. Like I think my parents. How much can I say? My dad worked at Bowling. My mom worked at the Pentagon.
Okay.
But I was born at Andrews.
I have a similar defense contractors.
Right.
I was in Fairfax.
Okay.
Right outside there my whole life, 2 to 26. And it was too much. You know, during the Bush administration, I was more of a hippie raver, and I was like, it's bad energy here. I don't like to feel it. You know, Thievery Corporation was DJing on the Capitol lawn during the State of the Union with a big inflatable projector of Bush with devil horns. And, you know, we went to a protest, and Peter, Paul, and Mary played against the Gulf War, and I was like, none of this is doing anything. This is going to just keep happening.
Yeah.
And the only opportunities I had were, like, to work with that kind of stuff, and I was like, I don't want to make bombs or missils.
Right.
I just want to make graphics and jokes.
I left there.
And memes.
Yeah.
I think I was 3 when we left D.C. I was born there, left there on my 3rd birthday, and we moved to the Philippines, and then we were there till like 2nd grade, and then we moved to Mississippi.
You've been all over.
A little bit. I died.
So it's pretty varied environments. To grow up in.
But we had wife and kids here, so we're here, you know?
Yeah, now we're here.
Fathered in.
I mean, I've been in Texas since 95. 95, I moved to Texas.
I came in 04.
All right. I was in San Antonio, went to, 8th grade, finished up 8th grade, and then all of high school. And then I just been acting an ass in this state.
Hell yeah.
Ever since then.
So you didn't go to Michigan. What university did you go to?
I went to Texas Wesleyan University.
Wesleyan. Okay, nice.
Up in Fort Worth.
All right, yeah.
Texas A&M bought our law school. So now everybody brags about how great Texas A&M's law school is. No, that's the Wesleyan Law School. Y'all motherfuckers. They didn't have a good law school. They just bought a good law school. We had a great law school. The rest of the campus, but our law school, that was legit.
We're gonna take a break.
Yeah, we should take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back talking about wrestling with Aaron.
So in the 80s, there was a guy named Ravishing Rick Rude.
Love him.
That would always kiss a girl for good luck beforehand. And we had the toys. They're 12-inch rubber wrestlers. You could throw it off a roof onto the driveway, and it was fine. Smash them against anything. So we were super fans in the 80s. You know, Hacksaw, Jim Duggan.
Yep.
Hillbilly Jim,
Iron
Junkyard
Sheik, Dog. And
JYD,
the Iowan Sheik, the Chomp One.
Who just died.
Who just passed.
So I was watching, wrestling Saturday morning, afternoon, and it was during the hype of WrestleMania, which I didn't know that was a local thing. Like, it was only at the Glen Burnie Arena in Maryland, and it was only up and down the East Coast they publicized it. The WWF I thought it was worldwide because that's the name of
World Wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know it was an East Coast thing. So Ravishing Rick Rude comes out.
What year is this?
Oh, 85, 4, 6, something like that. I was 7 or 8 or 9. He comes out, he brings a girl in from the audience to kiss for good luck. She's hot. She takes the microphone from him. She goes, "I'm not going to kiss you." And he goes, "Why is that?" I had no idea this was all scripted, I thought I was riveted like it's a soap opera. I was like, holy fuck. She's not going to kiss. What the fuck? And she goes, "I'm not going to kiss you." He goes, "Why is that?" And she said, "My husband is here." She gives the microphone back to him. He goes, "What does your husband do?" And she goes, "Professional wrestling. And Jake the Snake Roberts comes running down the aisle with a chair and fucks up Ravishing Rick Rude and puts the snake on him. And then they were like, this fight will be continued at WrestleMania, 5 at the Glen Burnie Arena in Maryland. Sign up for I ran upstairs. Dad, we got to go to WrestleMania. I didn't even know it was here. It's at the Glen Burnie Arena. We can take the metro from Vienna to there, the DC metro. Let's go. It was during dinner, and my dad was like, I'll call him and find out. Right before dinner, we're sitting at the dinner table, and I see him go, hello. I got that 1-800 number. I wrote it down from the TV. Yes, WrestleMania, Glen Burnie Arena. How much? Josh, wrestling's fake. Oh, well, can we go to see the monster trucks are real, right? Can we go see the monster trucks instead? Same phone call. How much? The monster trucks that's stupid. We're not going to do that.
That's hilarious. That's what I'm going to end up at with my kids at some point. But they're so deep into it. Like I said, they enjoy wrestling more than I do.
Yeah. And you do wrestling podcasts.
For a while I did.
Yeah.
But I had gotten out of wrestling. Like after the NWO, after WCW fell, after The Rock left to go be a movie star. Like a lot of people, I fell out.
Yeah.
And I only kept up with wrestling through video games. Every year I got whatever the new wrestling video game was. I got WWE, that. Yeah. And I would then tune in to WWE for a couple weeks just to figure out who these new people are on the fucking game. Like, who's this motherfucker? I ain't never seen him. What, it's a Mr. Kennedy, right? So I'd watch it just to see what that was. But then within a month, I'm out of it again. So then when I reconnected with my dad, he was always trying to talk about wrestling. And I was like, man, I don't watch no goddamn wrestling. What are you talking about? So then, to help us reconnect, I started tuning into Monday Night Raw and watching wrestling again because that's what my dad was still into.
Right.
And I'm like, you still watch wrestling? So I started watching wrestling again so that we could have something to talk about when we me and my dad didn't have a relationship for 16 years. So we're just getting to know each other again. And that was an easy way for us to start conversations is talk about what happened on wrestling this week. Next thing you know, I was like, I'm fucking watching wrestling every Monday. And I'm taking, Ashley, who was my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, but we just get together and it's like, yeah, we got to go watch Monday Night Raw. They're in town and all that. So then now she's coming to wrestling shows with me and stuff.
Yeah.
And had it not been for me reconnecting with my dad, I wouldn't be watching that shit. And I don't know what my kids would be into right now. Maybe they'd be better human beings, but because they're not watching fucking dudes with no shirts and spandex on,
it sounds like
resolving their issues with their fucking
violence.
Yeah.
It sounds like it brought everybody together nicely,
Yeah.
I mean, how really though? How is that any different from watching,
football,
football, or a TV show where people are shooting at each other?
Beanie Babies or Pogs or Pokemon or whatever.
My kids don't know anything about playing. We were young, we played guns.
Yeah.
We just run outside, you play guns and shit. My kids don't know nothing about playing guns, but they know about a super kick.
Yeah, right. Right.
They know how to throw a fucking a super kick and get that leg slap in there.
Did you ever read comics? You reading comic books?
I wasn't a big comic book dude.
The Walking Dead guy, Robert Kirkland, just got the license for Transformers and G.I. Joe comics.
I heard that the new Transformers movie was amazing. That was the best of
Let's go.
All of the
Let's
Transformers.
take the boys. You think Alonzo can go?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Let's go, man. I'm waiting for Walter. We're going to go during the day sometime.
Yeah, go watch the new Transformers?
Yeah.
All right.
Rise of the Beast. It's Unicron again from the 80s.
Okay.
From the cartoon. The Planet guy.
Okay.
Unicron is back.
But I haven't I've missed the last two Transformer movies. I stopped with the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I think at this point Transformers movies are kind of like Fast and Furious movies. You don't really need to have watched any of the other ones. Just just watch the action.
Pretty colors. Yeah. I'm a huge dork about it. I was begging for Transformers when I was little. It hit right when I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved into our neighborhood, I got my son into it again. He thinks it's cool. His dad thinks it's cool. And then that was when they started doing combiners again. So it was Optimus Prime was the big middle guy, and his shoulders had notches on them, and you could get Sideswipe and Wheeljack and all the other guys and put them and make the arms and make a huge one.
Okay.
It was like everything I wanted when I was little.
Yeah, yeah.
But we couldn't afford it, or they wouldn't. They got me the little Bumblebee. But now I got the money and I'm in charge. I'm like, we're gonna get them all. We're gonna wait until they're on sale, and we're gonna get every single one of them. so that I still have them. I still play with them. I still put them together and make huge robot poses.
Yeah.
I've got 9. I got 10 of them, so I've got enough to make 2 huge combiner guides, so I can make dioramas.
My Transformers was He-Man.
Yeah,
But I was like 3 or 4. I was like when he was 9, I was 4. So
Yeah.
so I Transformers would come on, and I didn't really care about it. I just wanted to watch He-Man. The whole
I
time.
was with you. I was a He-Man guy, and so I was in the Philippines. So my upbringing, those early years was a lot different than everybody else's.
you had good cartoons. You had real cartoons.
I mean, if you like the Japanese stuff,
Yeah.
like because we didn't have any of the popular shit here. We had
Right.
like the top 40, right? Over there, I didn't know about Sugar Hill Gang. I wasn't hearing no hip hop. I wasn't hearing R&B. I wasn't even hearing good rock. I was hearing Bon Jovi. I was hearing whatever they played on Air Force Radio, on Armed Forces Radio, and Armed Forces Television. So like I was behind.
Yeah.
So, but the cartoons I got there, like I had Transformers, I had He-Man like a bug, but I also had Brave Star.
I loved Brave Star.
You fuck with Brave Star?
Yeah, it was that futuristic Western.
Yes.
That was my first exposure to that, like mixing Western with like future.
Yes, he had the horse named 3030, and it was a metal horse, and he used to do Strength of the Bear, Eye of the Eagle.
Did you know that was only on for like 1 season?
Man,
It
made
felt
an
like
impact.
it was on forever, right?
I had all the fucking toys.
Yeah.
I had the horse. I had him. I had Tex Hex, the bad guy. I had his toy.
I had one of those, yeah.
I had all them shits. Like, and when I came back from the Philippines, I'm like, oh, y'all fuck with Brave Star? They're like, the fuck are you talking about,
that?
weirdo? Fucking this fucking weird guy talking about all these weird cartoons and shit. Gangnam Force and all that was over there. I had that stuff.
I had lots of G.I. Joe too. So
G.I. Joe was hot. Mask.
He meant Mask. I loved Mask. Do you remember those ones that were called Battle Beasts? And they were like these they're like muscle men, but they were little things, and they had holograms on their chest.
Yeah.
And there was the water
Put the
guys,
heat from
the
your
fire
thumb on it.
guys. Yeah, there's the water guys, the fire guys, and the
The
wood
one you
guys.
put your thumb on,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Do you
Transformers
remember
had
those
that too.
guys?
Yes.
Like, I loved those.
Water
I hadn't
puts out
thought
fire.
about that in
I know,
30-something
they're called
years.
battle beasts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Wood
yeah.
beats water.
Yeah, wood beats water. Water
Yeah.
beats fire beats
burns
wood.
wood.
It was like rock paper scissors, but it was little muscle men size guys. Yeah.
But they had joints. They had articulation.
Yeah, I remember those. I wonder if I have any of those.
Aaron,
anywhere.
we forgot to ask you your pronouns. I'm sorry. We don't really do that. We ask people their adverbs on this show. My adverbs are dangerously and ubiquitously.
Ubiquitously, yeah, right.
My adverbs or adjectives?
Adverbs.
Yeah.
Or adjectives, whatever you want. As long as it's not pronouns. Anything but pronouns.
Yeah, I'm here and there.
Pronouns are banned on this podcast.
Y'alls and y'alls.
Bruh and dude.
Yeah. I came up with the idea the other day that my pronouns are he, him, but they're the opposite. So, and every time you would say he, you have to say him, and anytime you have to say he, you would normally say he, you have to say, or him, you have to say he. So it's like him went to go get he money out the bank.
That sounds like Bernie Mac. Him downstairs.
Yeah, right.
Him
yeah.
downstairs.
With some milk and cookie.
Yeah, that's my requirement is that you have to swap he and him.
I would just shoot you. I don't have time. You're making me do
Get
too
the
much
pistol,
work in
Dad.
my brain.
Tell your uncle to get the pistol.
We're going down to 7 Mile. I'm gonna shoot he. I'm gonna shoot he right in him face.
In him face.
Did you get anything for Father's Day? Did you get requests? Did they ask
No,
you what
man, I
you
don't
wanted?
ask for shit. I don't ask for nothing for Father's Day because I'm not giving nothing for Mother's Day. So I don't ask for
Yeah.
shit.
Well, what do you
food.
get for the girl that has everything? You know.
Right. We don't make a big deal of those holidays. Like,
I asked for a nap, and then I was like, you know what? I'll take a nap when I'm dead. I'd rather be with them.
We ate. Let me just chill on the couch and play some video games.
Yeah,
and
everybody
if
peaceful.
y'all want to play, like we ended up playing Gang Beast,
Nice.
for a few hours, and like that was dope. You know, like let's play some video games without me. It's fun that I know that nobody in this house can beat me.
Yeah.
And I can fuck around because at no point do I feel threatened.
Wait
By
King
the
of the
challenge.
mountain. King of the mountain.
Yeah.
till your boy gets older and he has more time than you to game. He's gonna rock you. That's what's happening in my house.
Here's the thing.
I don't have no time to
Who
play.
allots the time? I do. My dad when we went upstairs, first thing I said, Bases Loaded 2.
Right.
My dad and I used to play Bases Loaded 2 on NES in the den when I was a kid, like crazy.
Double
And
dribble.
that too. But we would I remember like when I started finally getting to the point where like I was competitive.
Yeah.
And then he would start sending me outside in the summer more and more.
Yeah, you need to go play.
Yeah. And then I finally beat my dad for the first time in Bases Loaded 2. And he was hot.
Yeah.
Like it's the middle of the day, and when you finally beat dad, it's I'm doing all, and he's like,
it's over.
And
Retire
he goes,
as champion.
He goes, get the fuck out this house. Get the fuck out this house and don't come back till I tell you. And he locked the door when I walked out, and I didn't realize he meant it. I came back to get some water like 30 minutes later, and the door's locked, and I'm looking in the window, and I'm not, Dad. He's gone now, and he's playing Bases Loaded 2. He's got to get more reps in.
Yeah.
And
That's the worst. That's worse than you're grounded or I'm disappointed. Is get out of here. I don't even want to look at you right now.
Yeah.
Disgusted.
Motherfucker beat me.
That
He
was
ain't
me
gonna
with
beat
ping
me
pong.
no more.
I started beating everybody at ping pong, and they all quit playing ping pong with me. And I got to play ping pong with my 70-year-old dad last weekend, and he kept up. He was lunging.
Oh wow.
He went into the wall a couple times. It was close.
Man.
We've been having a religious discussion about where the soul is located in the body. We have some people that believe and some people that don't believe, and it's a whole existential thing. But, I like to ask if a doctor could say where the spirit is, if you're going to save yourself and all this, show me where it's at, if that's a thing, a part of you that you think is going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty important. So it should be somewhere in the anatomy, but it's, it's another dimension. This is just like the same argument with girls about squirting. Where is it at? Where does it come from? Is it piss? Doctors don't even know.
What the fuck?
It's pee.
It is pee?
Yeah,
Maybe girls squirt from their soul. They're squirting from their spirit.
First of all,
It's a
anybody
magical place.
that wholeheartedly believes that it's pee
Yeah,
has never made that shit happen.
and never tasted it.
And never, or you just had a dirty bitch piss on you. Like it's just you just need to make better choices.
It's okay if you did, either way. But maybe she did it from her spirit and her soul, and that's the only way you can get it going. Because it's a deep down thing.
Well, that's why so many people in my life have called me their soulmate.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I have a way of,
Engaging that little valve.
that little, it's something behind that hood. I know where to touch it.
They accepted you into their heart as their Lord and Savior.
They accepted me somewhere. I got 2 kids for it.
You found the answer within. Remember when we were little and retards couldn't talk good, and you could find them, and you knew like who was retarded?
You still do. You just can't call
No,
them
now
that.
there's a whole spectrum of like people that are just annoying.
You still know who they
and they're
are.
part
though.
of the same. No, you got to get to know somebody.
There's people that want to act like they are. I'm on the spectrum, and it's like, no, bitch,
You're on TikTok.
You got cable through Spectrum,
Right.
All right,
We're
you
on
ain't-
Spectrum now. We're
No,
on Time Warner.
Yeah.
Until I see a single strand of drool go from your lip and also be touching your shoe at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, don't try to act like you got some special thing.
You can smell it
'Cause you're
You can,
annoying.
you can smell it
And you
when
wanna
you
tell
get
people
around
what
the
to-
real ones. They have this certain
The real one.
The real ones have a smell. There's that chromosome that's
Yeah.
missing emits. Their pH balance is off a little bit. Now you come around me smelling like Jupe or goddamn Curve, Cool Water. I
Orbits.
know you ain't. If you smell like Axe, I know you're not on. You're not really. You just want attention.
There's a
Smell
lot of
like
places
Cool
on the
Water.
spectrum.
I wore that in high school. Did you wear that in high school?
No, I didn't wear that in high school.
You didn't wear that in high school?
No, I didn't get. I wasn't allowed to get Cool Water till I got to college. I was still wearing. Bruton, Old Spice,
Oh, yeah.
some
Drakkar.
Stetson.
Drakkar Noir.
The polo.
The only real cologne I was able to wear in high school was Jupe, and that's because my uncle James was the Jupe man,
Oh, really?
and he had Jupe soap, Jupe deodorant, Jupe cologne. He was the guy that put on way too much Jupe. He always smelled like Jupe. Right. So of course he would give me Jupe, and it was like I can smell like Saddlewood. Or I could smell like a South Detroit pimp.
Right.
I'll go with bitch better have my money.
Did you all see the TMNT movie when you were little?
Oh, yeah.
The original?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 89 one.
Remember the
1991?
Foot Clan bar?
Yeah, with
The
Sam.
bass?
With Sam.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell is the guy in
Oh.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Was
like,
he?
The guy's like, "You got any cigarettes?" He goes, "Regular or menthol?"
Ah.
That's Sam Rockwell.
He must have been
Was
like
it?
7.
Yeah, he was like probably 20.
I had the tape of
18.
that too. There's so many like Kung Fu Arcade and all these pinballs. Somebody could conceivably do
Yeah, they could make
the Foot
a
Clan
Foot
base
Clan
bar
hangout from Teenage
with
Mutant
a
Ninja
half
Turtles, the
pipe
movie,
and a DJ
and cigarettes.
well, insurance would be a nightmare if you got a half pipe and,
it would
booze.
smell like Axe
Yeah,
really hard
yeah.
in there. Like it would.
The kids still spraying Axe all over themselves.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Ugh.
Incels and Axe is like a terrible combination. That's what that shit would smell like. It would not be a place that
It
you
smells like not getting pussy.
Yeah, you know, like
Try
what-
hard.
the
Drakkar Noir.
it makes me think of
Oh my God.
Russian guys in tracksuits. A lot of
In a
tracksuits.
Bellic.
Okay, yeah.
That
no, I know,
that
yeah.
smell. It only works for runaways in an arcade
Right.
or Russian guys in tracksuits. They're the only ones that smell like that.
Yeah. Why is there no strip clubs with a pool? You could build a circle
Because
building.
those germs stay. Like
No, there's
chlamydia lives in
chlorine.
water.
Chlorine. Just naked. So the pool is a VIP area. So the building's a circle. There's an atrium. You pay the cover to get in, but then
I'll
you
be
got to pay another cover.
Goddamn, if I'm gonna be in a pool and I see somebody else's nut floating on top of the water, past me, I'll be goddamn.
That's
You
worse
got
than a
me.
Band-Aid.
You get out of the pool and you got somebody else's nut in your chest hair. I'd have to burn this place down. I got to kill everybody.
This is an idea that Josh has been working on for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's one of those like, why?
no.
It's the strip club with a pool in it.
No. You bring the strippers to the hotel with the pool.
Okay.
Right.
You don't
Just one.
get into. Like
And
I
then
might,
it's just
I
your
might
nut.
eat a steak from a strip club, but I will not immerse
Yeah.
myself in waters.
Yeah.
They used to have that place here in Austin with the hot tubs, mermaids.
Get out
downtown.
with glitter all over you.
The glitter and nut, yeah.
That's no thank you. You can't get around that.
So there's Russian there were Russian Facebook election bots that were influencing. Now I'm getting a similar thing, posting all this stuff on Instagram. I'm getting Arabian promotion bots. I'm getting these people messaging me every time I was told by a social media person that to tag the location on everything. So everything I put on Instagram, I put Austin. Well, now I'm getting all these messages from somebody named Pavinder that says promoted on Texas Vibes page.
Oh yeah, you know Prevender?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chagangara.
Yeah, Prevender the contender. That's what we
there's a
call him.
Pavinder Parker from Spider-Man Across the Universe.
Pavinder-
My
the pretender.
my friend. Yeah.
And then Russia's got the private people coming over to take over. They were going to take over the government, the private.
The mercenaries?
Mercenary army.
That's Metal
right?
Gear all over again.
Yo, that
Yeah,
shit. That when that shit happened 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That like the news of that, like the two top trending things on Twitter were Zuck versus Musk.
Right.
And then right below that was Wagner.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on, y'all over here talking about a Russian coup and the goddamn two billionaires wanting to fight each other. Go fuck yourselves, all of you. I don't believe not a damn word of any of this shit
We
until
are
I
in
see
clown
blood from one of
world,
those
right.
bitches' noses, or until I see somebody blowing up something. Get the fuck out of here with
until
this.
they're like Putin has been assassinated.
Right.
This is just such clown world. Ever since 2016, things just don't make any sense.
Nope.
It's just everything's like, ooh, yeah, the two biggest billionaires in the world are going to fight each other in the octagon.
Oh, I wonder what happened in 2016 that would have made something like that
I
happen.
don't know.
There's a military-industrial illusion of democracy, and we're worried about a submarine with 5 billionaires in it.
Right.
I hope they're going to be okay. So, yeah, we're reaching the end here. You have plugs? You got something coming up? Anything you want to? Family Man, YouTube?
Family Man's out right now.
Oh, yeah,
YouTube. Check that out. The new album I'm working on.
Hopefully we didn't burn your Nebraska material on here.
Nah, we'll be straight. But I think we'll probably be recording the new album in a couple months. So look for early 2024. The next special will be dropping.
Hell yeah.
Got to do a test run of it last night, so I'm feeling very confident that in the next couple months we can tighten this shit up. And
Yeah.
So look out for that. Bootleg Media coming. That's a company that I'm launching with Rebecca Trent from the Creek in the Cave, and Justin Palermo, the guy that shot the Family Man. It's a platform for comedy enthusiasts. So if you're not a comedy lover, not a comedy junkie, if you're somebody that really appreciates the art, and we're trying to cultivate and curate an audience, a community, I should say,
Okay.
of comedy enthusiasts, a place where you can find shit and connect with other comedians and comic enthusiasts.
Like a social network.
Almost. Basically, where funny people just yell shit in the air.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Throwing it at the wall to see what sticks.
We got a bunch of stuff coming up. I don't know of any shows that are coming up anytime relatively soon. It doesn't matter. But yeah,
No,
go check out
keep-
Family Man,
yeah,
and
keep
please
Family
keep
Man
your
coming.
keep your eyes out for the next special, which I think is while I remember.
All right.
While I remember.
What's your Twitter?
Twitter, Instagram, everything. TikTok, YouTube. It's all @_Aaron Cheatham. Everything is @_Aaron Cheatham.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, thank you guys. This is dope.
Hey,
Yeah.
we'll have
And
you
I
back.
could have walked to this motherfucker. This is it's dope.
I mean, we do it
appreciate
every week. Anytime you want to come by, we're here.
Bet.
Yeah. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.
I don't like that kind of talk.